What's up, my know-it-alls? Well, that's right. It is time for Obi-Wan Kenobi, Part 3. I don't even know where to start with this episode because it gave me all the things I wanted, but not exactly the way I wanted them.
Yeah. We got it. It just didn't.
You can't wait. You're going to enjoy this one. Stick around. This week's episode continues literally where last week's episode left off.
Kind of like that.
The short version is, so a couple of quick things. One, it's called Part 3. I'm not going to call it episode 3, Part 3. It's Part 3 of what I'm considering to be a roughly 6-hour Obi-Wan Kenobi movie. Yeah, it's a really long movie, and each episode is an hour. So that's why I believe they're doing the parts. And so this is Part 3. Mm-hmm. The short recap before we get into the discussion is Obi-Wan Kenobi is trying to deliver little spoilers, by the way, before we get too far into this. But Obi-Wan Kenobi's trying to get little kid Leia back home to Alderaan. She was kidnapped. Meanwhile, the Inquisitors, which include Reva, have gone back. And this episode, and she tells Vader, she gets Vader to back her up. That gives her all the street cred she needs to go back to the other kids at the Inquisitorium. Inquisitorium. In the, what do you call it, Empire Academy?
Hey, they had a Jabba temple. Why wouldn't they have an
Empire
Academy and an Inquisitorium?
I want that word now, Inquisitorium. But yeah, it's pretty interesting. So then after that, she follows and brings everything to bear on this little planet. So they're on an automated ship. The automated ship drops them off on this one planet. Mm-hmm. At the planet, they end up having to face stormtroopers and some other obstacles and whatnot. You see more of clever Leia, and then eventually you get a really cool encounter, which we'll get into more deeply. But that's the general overview of the episode. So let's talk stuff now. Oh, by the way, Miss Know-It-All again joining us.
Hi.
What'd you think?
I liked the episode. We got a lot of information. It's moving along. I didn't get the explosion, wow factor.
No, I got you. Well, so let's start with what you like, and then we'll go to what you didn't like. What did you like?
I liked...
Nothing?
No, I liked it all.
She's like, I like stuff.
I liked it all. Unfortunately, I didn't get that, oh my gosh, factor. So
I got you.
It's not that I didn't like it.
Right.
I really did like the episode. I like the story that they're telling. I like it. It's unfortunate that I don't have that I really love part.
Wow. Right on, man.
In other words.
No. Well, and I don't know that I really loved it either, by the way.
We got everything we wanted.
Right.
It just didn't unfold the way I wanted it to.
Now you sound like a Star Wars fan. That's awesome.
I wanted just a little bit more. It went by fast, though. The entire episode went by really fast.
Yeah, it was 47 minutes. It didn't feel long.
Yeah. But, and I guess, I don't know, like I said, we got what we wanted. It wasn't real big blow up, wow, this is awesome. Yeah. But at the same time, it's like but the episode went by fast, which means I was engaged and I liked it. It's just, that's all. So
it's funny because in prep for the series, I watched episode 3 and I watched just a couple of those, just to kind of refresh myself, and a few choice episodes from Clone Wars and a couple from Rebels and whatnot. And the one thing that I noticed is they used to have to add glow for the lightsabers.
That's right. Yeah.
So now this was one. So there there is a lightsaber battle. I'm not even gonna bury the lead. We get Darth Vader versus Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's an amazing encounter, and we'll talk a little more about it in general. Yeah, we're just gonna jump around spoiler talk because I feel like unlike my Star Trek show, I like this one more as a discussion. And so whereas I do a recap and review over there, you got my recap at the top of this. I'm recapping the events. Now we're going to just talk about some cool stuff.
Well, and I think that's what you said. I just recapped the events. That to me says there wasn't a.
Wow! And she's going in for this. She's going in for the jugular, folks.
Already.
Do it.
All right.
Okay.
Because you literally just went straight through it. That tells me that he literally just went from beginning to end. beginning to end. That's
the
what
only
the
thing I
recap
skipped was Vader. That's the only thing I skipped.
But you're right, though.
Absolutely right. It's funny. Wow, that's great. You know what, Mrs. Know-It-All? You have definitely given me some perspective right now because I never thought of it that way. You're absolutely correct. So there's not a whole lot. Things happen, but it's not even like overcomplicated things. So literally, you get Leia and Dude who just arrive on. So they're on that automated ship.
Yes.
Which is literally, it's all automated. You can't stop it. You can't take it off course. You can't do anything to it. I mean, outside somebody could probably hijack the thing, but at the end of the day, it's going specifically to a place. Mm-hmm. The place it goes is almost a completely deserted planet except for some small settlements. But literally, cargo just gets dropped off places like various hills, plateaus, whatever, and then someone comes and collects it all up. So there's some of that going on. But then when they get off the ship, they're supposed to... Obi-Wan is in such a despondent place, man. He's so not trusting of anyone. He's at one point, Leia's like, maybe we can find some help. And he's like, people aren't trustworthy. People are going to betray you. And I'm like, dang, jaded Obi-Wan.
He is really jaded.
He's literally like...
It's almost like fear and jadedness all at the same time.
Dude, that one parent who's like, don't go out anywhere. Don't go out home. Don't leave. Everyone outside's going to hurt you. And you're like... I'm sorry. Okay, Obi-Wan. And then we get Vader. And I love that.
They came right out, just right away. We got Vader.
And I was waiting for... So anybody who watched Rogue One and anyone who's seen any of James Earl Jones's audio, who's joined recently, Star Wars, in Rogue One, in a lot of those other movies that he's done, he does not sound like himself anymore. James Earl Jones sounds older, and you can tell. A great example is when he does when you hear the line in Rogue One where he's like, "Be careful not to choke on your aspirations." Mm-hmm. His voice is just off a hair. When you compare it to Darth Vader in the original trilogy
he's
to now, he's aged, and you can hear it in his voice. This was great. The minute Darth Vader opens his mouth, it's classic sounding James Earl Jones.
They did a great job.
I think they're using that Luke Skywalker voice technology.
Yeah, because when we were watching Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett, you can tell because when you hear interviews with Mark Hamill, you hear
inflection, age, and stuff like
you
that.
Hear the age, definitely.
But then and the only reason they were able to do a lot of Mark Hamill's the audio they were able to use for in Book of Boba Fett when you saw spoilers for Book of Boba Fett. I have the review to the episode I'm talking about, which I'll put the card right up here. And it's a computer, an AI, they have put and fed all of Mark Hamill's dialogue, not just from Star Wars, the movies that we've seen, but he also, so back in the 80s, he did a series of audio adventures. They were fully dramatized with full voice cast. I think the only person who didn't do it was Han Solo, Harrison Ford, but everyone else did. So Mark Hamill also voiced a ton of actual audiobooks, both Star Wars and not in that era. So there was a slew of audio they could feed into the computer in order to get the voice you got.
All the voices
Vader, I think they've done similar because he sounds amazing. He sounds like James Earl Jones hadn't missed a beat.
Right.
He sounds young and vibrant and very much that I was just very pleased. Hayden Christensen. Okay.
Something just popped in my head.
Is it bad?
No. It's just all of a sudden as we were talking about James Earl Jones and the voice, the episode of Big Bang Theory popped into my head, and I was thinking about his voice.
I love it. No, totally. When he's talking, I love that he's talking to Sheldon. And I love the fact in that episode, just that sidebar and spoilers for Big Bang Theory, a show that's been over now for a few years. When he's like, I love the fact that you think he's gonna be all like stuffy and a celebrity, and what does he do? He takes out friggin'
Do you like Star Wars?
He likes Sheldon, and he takes Sheldon like on an adventure. It's hilarious. Oh, it was good. Anyways, no.
Sorry about that, but I couldn't.
All I know is this entire episode, you get a ton of new dialogue from Darth Vader that I don't think anyone. It's great.
I also, if you watch A New Hope or any of the original, you'll see that Vader is walking differently. And it's not about being the actor, but you can see that he is aged. Here he's young.
Yeah, totally.
He's completely young, and he is walking around like we saw.
Like in Rogue One.
Yeah. He's
like
just,
at the end of Rogue One
just
when he's
walking around like
he's wrecking shop on some fools.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can tell that like he got out and did his own job, and then as time grew on and the Empire grew, he just sat back. He's a silent owner.
That's awesome. Darth Vader was
a silent owner.
Was a silent owner. I'm here for that. Yeah, man. And then so what was I'm trying to think. So then we see Vader by God. So then at one point, then we meet Whatchajigger. Where's she at? Where's my girl at? Oh my goodness! That's right, Indira Varma, rather, who plays Tala, even though she's credited online as Tia.
Yeah.
Tala is who she is, and she's a former Empire. I thought she was just some smuggler chick in an Empire outfit. You find out, no, she used to work. Like she joined the Empire,
thinking it was a good thing.
And then back when it stood for something, which again, I love that. This era of Star Wars, I don't care what side of the fence fandom that you live on, this era of Star Wars is giving us this really difficult conversation that says, because here's the thing, there are many people in Nazi Germany who thought they were doing good. Not by what they were doing, but because they believed in German nationalism, they believed in making life better for our people, and and to be fair, they had absolutely been oppressed after World War One. Right. Everybody, because of their involvement in World War One, was like trying to squash them down. So I understand why somebody would turn.
Well, I mean,
so she thought the same thing.
If you look at all of our characters that we've seen. Yeah. Well, not just her, but when you go back to the last three, what's his name? When he, forgive me, I don't know, I can't remember everybody's name. The stormtrooper.
Finn.
Thank you, Finn. Finn realized something clicked, even though he was, cloned, but at the same time he realized.
No, he wasn't cloned. He was actually.
That's right, he wasn't.
He's part of later on the First
Orders. Right.
They're just taking kids.
Yes,
and trying to raise them to be, they're basically Hitler childrening in them. Remember?
Yeah, no, I do remember. Yeah, but that's why so it's not uncommon for us to see that.
Right.
I'm actually kind of glad they kind of did that.
I am too. And again, Indira Varma's doing amazing work as an actress. I really like her, mainly because I'm used to, so we saw her in Game of Thrones and seen her some other things, and I really liked her. It's funny, I almost saw her as being someone Leia looked up to.
I can see that.
Because Leia sees her change her outfit. She's got a gun on her hip. And she's like, and it's funny. And Indira even says, she goes, that little girl's going to be a fighter. And you see Obi-Wan kind of like looking back behind over her. And he's like, yeah, you might be right. And I was like, yeah, dude, you're totally right.
Do you know what part I really liked? We were talking about Obi-Wan and Leia. When they were on the transporter, when Leia starts questioning, you know my real father... and Obi-Wan says, you look so much like your mother, or something very similar to that.
Right, because Freck the mole.
Because he looked like a mole man.
He totally looks like a mole man. He's super loyalist to the Empire. This guy's awesome.
Ridiculous.
Oh, he's so funny because you're like...
You kind of want to like him, but...
Yeah. And so there's this brief moment where, Obi-Wan tells some stormtroopers that they picked up to, oh yeah, that's right, this is a super tense moment. And he tells them, oh yeah, no, my wife died, and I look at my daughter's face, and I see her so much, and there's something, because remember, Leia's still very Force sensitive. It's all up here, whereas Luke eventually learns how to be more like this, but so it's all up here, and that she can read a lot of things, and they're making that very clear that she's always had that sort of prescient, whatever, and so she, I like that moment because she looks at him and she's so innocent, and it's very much, I feel like there's like kid hope, but she's like, so you knew my mother? Are you my dad?
That I was getting to that. I was like, she came flat out and said, "Are you my real dad?"
And I was like, okay, and I'm okay with that.
No, absolutely, because I I guess I wouldn't expect anything less from her.
No, for real. Very direct. I just like the way. So yes, she's still a hair too clever for me. I don't mean the kids aren't clever, but I feel like she's bordering on a she's a character who I feel like the writers are writing because the writers know who she's eventually going to become.
Yeah.
And the thing is, my issue is never how the character is characterized. I love strong women. I love strong female characters. I'm down. Whatever. I've never been a fan of kids insulting adults. I always feel like that's a strange undermining and subversion that I don't agree with. Right. I've never agreed with it. Not when it was on sitcoms and anything else. Anyway, but I do think that there's a difference between. We need to see the journey.
Right.
And that was the first time when she meets this character, when she meets Tala. That's the first time that I felt like, oh, Leia is beginning to build who her templates are. Go ahead.
You said that something popped into my head.
Yeah.
When, what's her name? Reva. When Reva finally walked into where she was at.
Yeah.
This was so cool. There was the rebel symbol.
Yeah.
That was carved into the wall. So that told Reva that everyone kind of passes through these tunnels. But at the same time, I was like, ooh, that's where my most excitement was when we see the rebel insignia.
Yeah, that was awesome because you kind of
because it tells you where it's going.
Yeah.
And I say that because that tells us in Star Wars history that they started this real quick. Because right now the Empire is pretty new. Ish.
I believe.
New-ish.
I believe. So, a couple of quick predictions based on some things that happened. So, you get the fight. We've always wanted, and it was very lackluster because I believe this is the first fight.
Yeah, because when we talk about the one that happens in A New Hope.
Yeah.
I hope that wasn't the fight. I hope this is the first of a couple, because there was nothing. It wasn't. I don't want to say it wasn't a fair fight, but you have Obi-Wan not use he's got to use all his muscle memory now to use the Force. So he's and I think he's also still very much in shock because last episode he heard that Anakin was still alive, and then you see
less than a day.
Yeah, you see him standing in that the one.
Like a quarry?
Yeah, like the quarry. And when he's walking through the village, all of a sudden you see Obi-Wan just kind of stop. Like something's wrong. Like he knew, and he left those two back and he went up to the window. He knew,
yeah.
I'm convinced he woke up Anakin.
I agree, especially because
he woke up Anakin.
Especially because the whole beginning of this episode is literally them dressing him and getting him ready and putting him together.
Which was really cool because you don't see that very often.
Right.
He's been looking for you for a long time.
And I think he was probably resting or whatever. Anyway, yeah, man. Seeing, and then so you see this encounter, and it's back to what I was talking about at the beginning. The lightsabers are practical in that they are lit up themselves, so you get to see this practical light on them.
When we learned that.
So Obi-Wan, yeah, you totally learned that. But Obi-Wan is so his is blue and Vader's is red, and they're in a dark quarry, and they're facing each other, and there's this sloppy factor to Obi-Wan that's like all the things you said. I think where they're going is, by the end of this series, you will have Obi-Wan who is no longer hiding, but Obi-Wan who has said, I'm going to sit here, I'm going to be who I'm supposed to be, which I am a Jedi. Mm-hmm. Yes, I will hide, and yes, I will protect the child, but I am a Jedi first. And I believe he's so he decides to go, and that's why he's all kind of buttoned up when we see him.
Yeah.
Because when Luke comes to him, in A New Hope, he's not this guy, all rough looking.
No, he's not. He's not. And I think at the time when we see A New Hope, I think what happened was it's after that period now.
Right.
So it's no longer how old do you think Luke was when
he's 19, we find out.
That's right. They're both
19.
19.
Because they're twins. They're both 19, yeah. I did look it up. You guys saw that last episode. Shut up. Anyways, but yeah, no, he's 19, and it's it's 9 years. 9 years between now and who Obi-Wan eventually becomes. The gray-haired, older...
And I kind of feel like that took a toll on him to get to the great hair.
I think so, too.
Yeah. Where he becomes the hermit that Luke thinks he is.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think, and the thing is, it's life will do that. So I think he's definitely... I believe we're going to get to see much more of that personal journey.
Of how he became who he was in A New Hope, sure.
Yeah,
sure.
and if you're going to make this a true limited series, because again, there's only so many stories you can tell in this time period, in this place. If this is going to be his farewell, I think you absolutely... How awesome would it be to actually get Ewan McGregor to butt up to the moment? So if Rogue One butted us right up to A New Hope,
right,
backed us right up to it,
yeah,
it'd be great if you had Obi-Wan back us right up to A New Hope also, but from Luke's side.
From Luke's perspective,
because we got to see in Rogue One Leia's side, backed right up. So now you do it with Luke, and I think you have a very nice the way George Lucas used to call it, symmetry. It's like this song it sings. It's my really bad George Lucas impression.
Very bad.
Shut up.
I mean, I love you.
Anyways, so yeah, man, Nodal Index. What is your how did you rate part 3?
I originally said 7 because like we said before, I got everything I wanted. It just didn't explode in my face. My most excitement during that, everything was cool. When Vader and right. Obi-Wan, all that was really great. But my wow factor was when I saw the Rebel symbol.
Really?
Mm-hmm. That was my wow factor.
Mm-hmm. It became real for you.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
That's
so
awesome.
I'm gonna give it an 8.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I think did it.
All right, 8 out of 10. Got it. I'm going to go a hair better because I got the encounter I wanted, but it's not gonna I'm 8.5. I was originally 9 in the room when we were watching it. And I'm backed down a half.
I like the way we kind of shifted.
We did, because you were much less and
I
was much more. But I think now we're talking it through. So my there were things that so was the lightsaber battle what I wanted it to be? No. Was Vader setting the ground on fire, grabbing Obi-Wan, slamming him into the thing, and being all like, your pain has only just begun. And I'm like, wow. And that to me kind of raised my wow, dude, okay. The emotional stakes are here.
Yeah.
The personal stakes between it's Obi-Wan and Vader again.
You should have killed me when you had the chance.
You should have killed me when you had the chance. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
I'm in, man. I'm in. 8.5.
Okay.
8.5 out of 10. Nodal Index for me. All right. Well, there you go. Now you know. If knowing is half the battle,
you're halfway being to Nodal.
That's right. All right, guys. Let us comment below. Let us know what you thought. And we'd love to talk more about this episode and kind of see where your head's at regarding it. So, yeah, we'll see you next week. Never forget.
Everyone loves a know-it-all.